In the dark emptiness between stars, a small human scout ship drifted quietly. It was called Aurora 9, a research vessel with a crew of just 12. To most alien civilizations, such a ship would look like a child's toy, small, fragile, harmless. And that was exactly what the Vorn Empire thought when their scanners picked it up. The Vorn were not used to fear. They ruled 6 galaxies, had crushed hundreds of species, and enslaved millions. Their ships were huge, city-sized battleships powered by dark energy. To them, humans were just another primitive race, a group of talking apes playing with metal and fire. But that night, as Aurora 9 floated in the shadow of a dying star, something happened that would change everything. Captain Rhea Morgan stood at the front deck, watching the strange light patterns coming from the star. Her crew whispered nervously. The readings were unstable. The star wasn't dying naturally, it was being drained. "Who could do that?" asked Ensign Patel, staring at the data screen. Rhea frowned. "Something powerful. Something alive." Before anyone could respond, the ship's sensors screamed with warning alarms. 3 Vorn destroyers uncloaked ahead, their metallic bodies glimmering red. They surrounded Aurora, 9 like wolves around a lost rabbit. A deep, cold voice echoed through their comms. "This region belongs to the Vorn Empire. Identify yourself, or be destroyed." Rhea knew they couldn't win a fight. Their weapons were weak compared to the Vorn. She pressed the comm button calmly. "This is Captain Rhea Morgan of the Human Exploration Fleet. We come in peace." The alien commander laughed, a dry, harsh sound. "Peace? You bring toys into our territory and call it peace." Rhea exchanged a glance with her pilot. They had heard stories about the Vorn, ruthless conquerors who never left witnesses. "Power down the engines," Rhea ordered. "Let's look harmless." But even as she said that, she secretly activated a small beacon, a human distress signal that used a frequency so low, no alien species had ever detected it before. It would take hours to reach the nearest human base, but it was their only chance. The Vorn commander decided to play with his prey. He ordered the human ship to be boarded. 3 Vorn soldiers, each twice the size of a man, entered Aurora 9. Their armor looked alive, glowing with dark energy veins. They laughed at the small corridors, the weak lights, the tiny human crew trembling before them. One of them kicked a console and said, "This is what humans call a ship? Even our children's drones are stronger." But when one of the Vorn tried to open a sealed door, his scanner glitched. Inside that room was something they didn't understand, a strange cube pulsing with light. "What is this device?" the Vorn commander demanded. Rhea stayed silent. The cube wasn't a weapon. It was something else, a prototype engine humans had just begun testing. It could bend space in ways even the Vorn hadn't mastered. One soldier touched it. The cube reacted instantly. A burst of energy flashed through the room, throwing the alien across the wall. The others roared, drawing their weapons, but it was too late. The cube's light expanded, filling the ship like a storm of white fire. From the Vorn battleships outside, the human vessel vanished from all sensors. When it reappeared, it was no longer in the same place. It was behind the Vorn fleet. How did they do that?" shouted one of the Vorn officers. Before they could respond, Aurora 9 fired, not with missiles, but with a focused beam of the same energy from the cube. It hit one destroyer directly in its core. The mighty ship exploded, breaking apart like glass. The other Vorn ships panicked. They tried to retreat, but the humans fired again, one beam, then another. The emptiness of space was filled with burning metal. Inside Aurora 9, Captain Rhea could hardly believe what she was seeing. The prototype engine had turned their small ship into a weapon the Vorn couldn't comprehend. But she also knew something terrifying: the cube's power was unstable. The readings were rising fast. "Shut it down," Patel shouted. "It's overloading." Rhea hesitated. The enemy ships were regrouping. If she shut the cube down, they'd be captured. If she didn't, they might all die. "Captain," her pilot said quietly, Whatever happens now, they'll never see us as toys again. Rhea smiled faintly. Then let's show them what humans can do. The cube pulsed one final time. Light swallowed everything. When the brightness faded, Aurora 9 was gone, and so were the Vorn destroyers. Only silence remained in the cold, endless void. Across the galaxy, the Vorn Emperor received a message, a fragment of human transmission. Just 3 words, repeated over and over. Do not underestimate humanity. And that was the night the war began. Far from the silent battlefield where Aurora 9 vanished, the Vorn Empire trembled for the first time in centuries. In the massive throne chamber of the Imperial Fortress, the air vibrated with anger. The Emperor, Varntel, sat upon a throne made of dark crystal, surrounded by generals and high lords. His crimson eyes glowed like fire. The holographic projection of the destroyed fleet flickered before them. 3 destroyers, one general whispered, erased by a human vessel no larger than a freighter. Impossible. The Emperor's clawed hand tightened. Nothing is impossible. Only incompetence. He turned toward the generals. Tell me, who are these humans? A thin alien scholar stepped forward, nervous. A minor species, my Emperor. From a small spiral arm in the Milky Way. They call their planet Earth. Population, roughly 10 billion. Technology, primitive. No known warp fleets. No colonies beyond their solar system. Then how did they destroy my ships? The Emperor hissed. The scholar lowered his eyes. We don't know. Our sensors recorded an unknown energy burst before contact was lost. For a long moment, no one dared to speak. Then the Emperor stood, his black armor glinting. Find them. Bring me one of their ships. If their toys can destroy destroyers, I want to know how. Across the hall, Admiral Korath watched silently. He was the most feared commander in the Vorn Empire, and the one who had once conquered 3 entire worlds in a single day. His expression didn't change, but inside, he was curious. Humans, he muttered. Interesting prey. Meanwhile, on Earth, chaos and disbelief filled the Human Defense Command. The transmission from Aurora 9 had arrived, fragments of video showing the impossible. The Vorn destroyers burning. The cube's light. And then silence. In the underground base beneath the Andes Mountains, Admiral Sarah Holt watched the footage again and again. The data made no sense. The cube had generated an energy wave beyond any human science. Her assistant said quietly, "The Vorn will retaliate." Sarah nodded. Yes. And this time, they won't underestimate us. She looked around the command center. Engineers, soldiers, scientists, all working together, fear in their eyes but determination in their movements. Humanity had always been slow to unite. But now, with an alien empire watching, there was no choice. Project Iron Dawn, once a secret defense experiment, was activated. It involved merging human ships with recovered alien tech, fragments collected from old crash sites and black market ruins. The goal was simple: survival. Get me the Vanguard fleet, Holt ordered. If they're coming, we'll be ready. In deep space, the Vorn Empire sent scouts to hunt for human signatures. One of them, the Skreth Hunter, entered the Sol system quietly, cloaked in plasma shadow. Its mission was simple: capture a human ship alive. They found a small cargo freighter near Jupiter's orbit. Unarmed. Slow. Easy prey. Target locked, said the Vorn pilot, his voice cold. Do not destroy, commanded Korath, who was monitoring the mission from afar. I want them breathing. The Skreth Hunter released its tractor beams. The freighter shook violently. Inside, the human crew screamed as the alien gravity dragged their ship. Then something unexpected happened. The freighter's hull split open, but not from damage. A hidden bay opened beneath it, revealing a massive cannon that didn't belong to human technology. It glowed with the same white light seen in the Aurora 9 recording. The cannon fired. The energy wave hit the Vorn scout ship like a hammer of light. Shields shattered. Systems failed. The entire ship froze in time for one breath, and then exploded into dust. Korath watched in silence as his monitor went black. "What was that?" asked one of his officers. The admiral's eyes narrowed. "That was no freighter. That was bait." He leaned closer to the console, his claws tapping the surface. "These humans, they are learning." Weeks passed. Across the stars, whispers spread, of a new enemy that fought like demons. Human fleets began appearing in sectors once thought unreachable. Their ships were small, fast, unpredictable. They didn't fight like other races. They adapted. Each battle taught them something new. Each defeat made them stronger. And somewhere, deep in a secret base orbiting Saturn, scientists were studying the mysterious cube from Aurora 9. Dr. May Han stood before it, watching the shifting lights inside. "It's not just a weapon," she said softly. "It's a living engine. It responds to thought, to fear, to intent." Her assistant swallowed hard. "You mean, it's alive?" May nodded. "In some way. And if we learn how to control it, we won't just defend Earth. We'll reshape the galaxy." But far beyond the human systems, in the Vorn capital, Emperor Varntel was already preparing his next move. He turned to Admiral Korath. "Send the Legion. Burn their moon. Leave nothing alive. If they wish for war, they shall have one." Korath bowed. "As you command." As he left the throne room, he couldn't help but glance at the stars on the holographic map. Tiny human colonies appearing like sparks of fire. "Tiny fires," he whispered, "but sometimes small fires burn empires." The Vorn War fleet began its journey toward Earth, unaware that humanity had already set its trap. And somewhere, deep in the void, a faint signal appeared again, a human transmission repeating endlessly across space. "Aurora lives." The stars above Earth burned bright that night, but everyone knew it wasn't beauty, it was warning. Every telescope, every satellite, every radar dish pointed toward the same part of the sky where the Vorn fleet was coming. They were enormous, hundreds of ships, dark as obsidian, covering the void like a living storm. Each ship carried enough firepower to destroy a planet. Humanity's greatest fear was now real. In the orbital command station, Admiral Sarah Holt stood beside the holomap. Red dots filled the screen. The Vorn invasion fleet was just 2 days away. A young officer whispered, "We can't fight that, ma'am. There's too many." Holt didn't look away from the screen. "We're not going to fight them head-on." She pressed a button, and the map changed. Blue marks appeared, small, hidden clusters in the asteroid belt, on Mars, even behind the moon. These were not massive ships like the Vorns. They were compact human vessels, half mechanical, half experimental, powered by the same mysterious energy as the Aurora 9's cube. "Operation Phantom Veil," Holt said. "They think we're weak. Let's use that." 2 days later, space above Earth trembled. The Vorn fleet arrived, their engines lighting up the darkness. At the front was the flagship Oblivion Spear, commanded by Admiral Korath himself. He watched the small blue planet appear on the main display. "Such a fragile world," he said softly. "Let's see what their courage is worth." The Vorn ships spread into formation. The invasion was meant to be quick, strike, burn, conquer. They didn't even raise full shields. After all, humans were supposed to be children with toys. But then, something strange happened. The human fleet didn't move to defend Earth. Instead, every satellite, every station, every ship suddenly went silent. Even Earth's signal traffic vanished. "Commander," said a Vorn officer, "our sensors show nothing. No movement, no transmissions. They've gone dark." Korath frowned. "That's not fear. That's strategy." He raised his claw. "Begin the scan. Find them." The Vorn fleet scanners spread out across the system, sending waves of dark energy through space. But the readings came back wrong. Reflections. Ghost signals. Echoes. What is this? Korath zoomed in on one asteroid field. The rocks were moving, slowly, unnaturally. And then, one of them opened its eyes. It wasn't an asteroid. It was a ship. The first strike came fast. A burst of blue light cut through the void, slamming into the nearest Vorn cruiser. It broke apart instantly, its hull glowing white before vanishing. Another human ship appeared, sleek, small, darting through the fleet like a shark among whales. Its name appeared briefly on Vorn sensors, Aurora's Echo. "The humans are attacking," shouted the Vorn officer. Korath's lips curled into a grin. Finally! He ordered his fleet to retaliate, and space erupted with fire. Beams of plasma and bursts of energy crossed the stars. Human ships were destroyed in flashes of white, but for every one that fell, two more appeared, firing from shadows, from asteroid tunnels, from cloaked stations. The humans didn't fight like an empire. They fought like hunters. Inside Aurora's Echo, Captain Rhea Morgan leaned forward in her command chair. Yes, she was alive. The Aurora 9 hadn't been destroyed after all. The cube had teleported them months ahead in time, and in that lost time, Rhea had seen things no human could imagine. Now she was back, leading the counterattack. "Target their command channels," Rhea ordered. "Blind their communication. Make them fight in the dark." Patel, sitting at the controls, smiled. "With pleasure." Their weapons pulsed again. The cube's energy hummed through the ship like a heartbeat. Rhea felt it, alive, responding to her thoughts. It wasn't just power. It was connection. As she fired, she whispered softly, "Let's finish what we started." Back on the Vorn flagship, chaos filled the bridge. "Admiral! We're losing control of the fleet grid. Shields are fluctuating. Unknown energy detected, matching human frequencies." Korath slammed his fist into the console. "Impossible. They shouldn't be capable of this." The Emperor's hologram appeared before him. "Explain yourself, Korath." "My lord, their ships, small but powerful. They use energy beyond known science. It's not natural." The Emperor's voice was cold. "Then destroy their world. Burn the surface." Korath nodded slowly. "As you command." He turned toward his weapons officer. "Prepare the planetary cannon." A massive sphere beneath the flagship began to glow, gathering power to fire at Earth. But before it could launch, hundreds of human ships uncloaked between the planet and the Vorn fleet. They formed a wall of light. Rhea's voice came through the open comms. "You wanted to see what humanity can do? Here we are." Korath stared at the transmission. "Captain Rhea Morgan," he said softly. "You survived." Her voice was calm, fearless. "We don't die easily." The cannon fired. The blast tore across space like a sunburst, but before it could hit Earth, the human fleet reacted. Their ships combined energy through linked cube reactors, creating a shimmering barrier of white light. The cannon's beam hit the barrier, and stopped. The space around the fleets shook violently, gravity twisting, stars bending. For a moment, time itself seemed to freeze. Then, with a thunderous flash, the energy reversed direction, slamming back into the Vorn flagship. The Oblivion's spear exploded. The Vorn fleet broke formation, panic spreading. Human ships surged forward, chasing them. In minutes, the invincible Empire had lost its most powerful weapon. Inside the wreckage, Admiral Korath floated among sparks and dying systems. His armor cracked, his body weak, but his eyes still burned with respect. "They learned faster than anyone," he whispered. "They are not prey." His calm crackled. The Emperor's voice echoed faintly. "Korath, report." Korath smiled faintly. "Report. You don't fight humans, my lord. You survive them." The connection died. As the battle ended, Captain Rhea looked out at the stars. The war wasn't over, not even close, but humanity had survived the first strike. "Send this message to all channels," she said. Patel nodded. "Ready." Rhea spoke slowly, her voice echoing across the galaxy. This is Earth Command. To all species who think we are weak, watch the skies. Humanity is awake. The message spread through every corner of the galaxy. And somewhere, in the ruins of the Vorn fleet, a single cube pulsed with light, awake, growing stronger. The real war had only begun. The galaxy was silent for a moment, a fragile, tense silence after the first clash between humans and the Vorn. But silence never lasted long in war. Far from Earth, deep in the Vorn capital, Emperor Varntel paced before a massive holographic map of the Milky Way. His anger was like a storm contained in a crystal box, unstoppable, unrelenting. They defied us, he hissed. A single human ship destroyed our flagship. A fleet of small vessels shattered our command. What is this abomination? A trembling Vorn scholar stepped forward. My Emperor, the human's power. It comes from the cube of Aurora 9. We have never encountered such energy. It is alive. It responds to thought, to intent. It is not mere technology. Varntel's crimson eyes burned hotter. Then we will not face them with toys. Prepare the Leviathan. The Leviathan was an ancient weapon, older than any recorded Vorn history. A massive dreadnought, a city-sized ship powered by a dark core of collapsing stars, capable of annihilating planets in a single strike. Admiral Korath, still recovering from his defeat, approached cautiously. My Emperor, even for us, the Leviathan is uncontrollable. Its power. I don't care, Varntel interrupted. If humanity wishes war, they will see the end before it begins. Korath's claws clenched. He had fought hundreds of battles, conquered countless species, but fear for this weapon, the Leviathan, was real. Back on Earth, Captain Rhea Morgan was already sensing something. The cube inside Aurora's echo pulsed violently, warning her of an approaching danger. Patel, she said, eyes scanning the sensors, something massive is entering the outer solar system. Something alive. Her pilot froze. Alive? A ship. Yes. Bigger than anything we've ever faced. Energy readings off the charts. We need to prepare, now. In orbit above Jupiter, the Leviathan emerged from the shadows. It was colossal, its hull blacker than the void, energy veins glowing crimson. Smaller Vorn warships swarmed around it like ants, powerless to do anything without orders. From the Leviathan's bridge, Varntel observed Earth with a predator's gaze. This planet will kneel. Humanity will learn its place. Korath looked at the Emperor. My lord, the humans are no longer weak. Their ships are unlike anything we've fought. Even the cube, it's alive. Varntel laughed coldly. Then we shall crush it. Meanwhile, on the moon, human engineers and scientists were working at a frantic pace. Dr. May Han stood over a display of the cube, her hands trembling slightly. It's reacting, she said. I've never seen it like this. It senses the Leviathan. It's calling to it, but also resisting. Resisting? Asked her assistant. Yes, May whispered. It's alive, and it doesn't want to be used as a weapon. But if we don't act, the Leviathan will destroy Earth before we can even fight back. Captain Rhea arrived, her suit humming with energy. Then we'll use its will, not just its power. We have to make it fight with us. May nodded. I think it's ready. But this is dangerous. One mistake, and we all die. Rhea clenched her fists. We've survived worse. We don't run. The humans launched their fleet, small ships racing across space, weaving in and out of asteroid fields, cloaked stations, and orbital defenses. The Leviathan waited, its immense energy core glowing like a dying sun. As the first human ships approached, the Leviathan fired. Beams of pure dark energy shot through the void, destroying several vessels instantly. But the cube inside Aurora's echo responded. It pulsed, sending waves of white light that bent space itself. Entire sections of the human fleet vanished and reappeared behind the Leviathan. Ships fired in coordinated precision, dodging attacks, and striking the massive vessel in weak points no Vorn engineer had ever designed. Inside the Leviathan, alarms screamed. Varntel roared in rage. How can these humans move like this? Koratha's claws trembled on the console. They aren't just ships, my emperor. They're alive. Or, something is alive with them. The cube. Varntel's eyes flared crimson. Then we end it. Planet Earth will burn. Fire everything. But every weapon fired at Earth or the cube was intercepted. White energy collided with crimson beams, creating storms of power that twisted space itself. The Leviathan shuddered. Its shields flickered. Rhea spoke to the cube as if it were a teammate, a friend. You've survived this long. Fight with us. Not for war, but for life. The cube pulsed brighter than ever before. The Leviathan's massive form began to crack, its internal systems destabilizing. Red veins of energy burst, and a deep hum shook the void. Then, in one blinding flash, the Leviathan split open, energy ripping through it from core to hull. Pieces of the ancient dreadnought scattered into space, the dark energy dissipating harmlessly. Korath floated amid the wreckage, staring at the stars, breathing hard. They survived, he whispered. This is no ordinary species. The cube's glow faded slightly, as if tired but still alive. Aurora's echo hovered near the remnants of the Leviathan. Rhea looked at it and smiled softly. We did it. But this war, it's just beginning. Across the galaxy, the Vorn Empire reeled from the loss. Their most ancient weapon destroyed by what they thought were toys. The Emperor seethed, more determined than ever. Humanity had survived again, but the cost of defiance would only grow. And somewhere in deep space, new signals began to appear, echoes of the cube, reaching other human colonies. A warning, a promise. Humanity will not be defeated. The Vorn Empire was shaken. The Leviathan, a weapon older than memory, had been destroyed by a single human ship and a mysterious cube of light. Across the galaxy, Vorn lords whispered, fear spreading like wildfire. But fear alone did not stop the Empire, it only made them more ruthless. Emperor Varntel sat in his throne room, the red glow of the war map reflecting off his black armor. They survive because they are clever, he said, his claws tapping the crystal floor. But cleverness cannot save them forever. Find me the humans. Burn their colonies. Crush their fleets. Korath, still shaken by the Leviathan's destruction, approached slowly. My emperor. There are whispers among the lords. Some question your orders. Some hesitate. Varntel's eyes narrowed. Do not mistake hesitation for weakness. Crush them, or I will. Back near Saturn's rings, Earth's fleet was preparing to strike. The humans had not waited for the Vorn to attack again. They had a plan, and it was bold. Using the cube's energy, they had developed a fleet that could manipulate spacetime for brief bursts, allowing small ships to appear behind enemy lines before the Vorn even saw them. Captain Rhea Morgan stood on the command deck of Aurora's Echo, watching the holomap. This is our chance, she said. We hit the Vorn supply stations first. Their colonies in the outer sectors. They think humans are weak. Let's show them how wrong they are. Patel, her pilot, smirked. I've always liked showing them wrong. Rhea smiled faintly. Good. Let's make it hurt. The humans launched. Small, fast, agile vessels darted through the void, warping in and out of sight. One moment they were near Saturn's orbit, the next, behind a supply convoy in the distant Epsilon sector. Every strike was precise. Energy nodes exploded, communications were cut, and Vorn's supply lines collapsed. Korath, now commanding a rebuilt portion of the fleet, was furious. They move like ghosts, he growled. Everywhere and nowhere at once. How can this be? His subordinate answered in a trembling voice. The cube, sir. It's giving them a type of precognition. They predict our moves before we make them. Korath ground his claws. Then we adapt. Prepare the Shock Legion. I want humans captured alive. Not destroyed. Alive. I need to understand how they fight. As the Vorn scrambled to respond, a human strike team entered a heavily guarded asteroid station. The station was a key supply hub, brimming with weapons and energy cores. Ria's voice came through the comms. Move fast. Take what we need and leave no trace behind. The human ships coordinated like a single organism. Pilots twisted through narrow tunnels, engineers sabotaged the energy reactors, and the cube hummed softly, guiding their actions. Suddenly, alarms blared. A group of Vorn soldiers had noticed the intrusion. Engage, one yelled. But before they could react, the cube emitted a blinding pulse, sending a wave of energy that disabled the Vorn suits and knocked out their weapons. The humans moved past them effortlessly, completing their mission. By the time the Vorn regrouped, the station was in flames, orbiting debris scattered across space, and the human fleet had vanished again. Back in the Vorn capital, the Emperor was enraged. Every attack they make, efficient, precise, devastating. He slammed a claw into the floor. Korath, I want answers. No more delays. The humans will fall. Korath bowed but secretly doubted his ability to stop them. Something inside the Vorn ranks had changed. Whispers of admiration for human cunning, even doubt in the Emperor's absolute rule, were spreading among the lords. Some secretly feared that their next orders could lead to total destruction. And then, Korath received a transmission from an unknown Vorn warship. The message was simple, a declaration of defection. One of the Vorn sectors, rich in resources and advanced weaponry, was offering to side with humans in exchange for protection. Korath frowned. Impossible. No Vorn betrays the Empire. But the evidence was there, a fleet waiting in neutral space, prepared to join the humans. Meanwhile, Earth's fleet regrouped near a hidden base on Titan. Dr. Mei Han studied the cube intensely. It's growing, she said, her hands trembling. Not just in power, but in awareness. It's learning, adapting, almost like it knows the Vorn's next move before they make it. Ria stepped beside her. Then we use it. Whatever it takes. Mei looked at her solemnly. Captain, I think the cube isn't just a weapon. It's a guardian. Something ancient, older than any civilization we know. And it chose humanity to wield it. Ria's eyes widened. Then we're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting for something far bigger. The message of defection reached the humans. Ria smiled. Looks like we have allies, even among our enemies. Let's make the Vorn regret underestimating us. In the shadows of the galaxy, the first coordinated human-Vorn alliance began to form. Small fleets moved in secrecy, striking supply routes, capturing stations, and preparing for a major offensive. The Vorn Empire, vast and powerful, was now vulnerable, not just to human technology, but to the intelligence, courage, and cunning of a species they had mocked as children with toys. And somewhere, deep inside the cube's energy core, a pulse echoed, a heartbeat that seemed to resonate across space. Humanity's rise had begun, and the war was only accelerating. The galaxy had changed. The Vorn Empire, once thought unstoppable, was now cautious, fractured, and angry. Humanity, with its small fleet and the mysterious cube, had become the spark of rebellion that threatened the entire hierarchy of the Vorn. Captain Ria Morgan stood on the bridge of Aurora's Echo, staring at the holomap of the Vorn-controlled systems. Her fleet, bolstered by the defecting Vorn sector, was ready. Supply lines had been sabotaged, forward bases weakened. Now, the time had come for the first offensive deep into Vorn territory. Everyone, Ria said, voice steady, we strike tonight. The Empire won't expect us this far in. We hit their supply hubs and research stations. Cut their reinforcements. Send a message they'll never forget. Patel smirked. They'll think toys are finally grown up. Meanwhile, in the Vorn capital, Emperor Varntel's rage simmered. His throne room was chaotic, generals shouting, reports of the lost stations piling up. Korath knelt beside the Emperor. My lord, the humans are inside our borders. They move faster than any reconnaissance can track. And there are defectors aiding them. Varntel's crimson eyes burned brighter than ever. Then we end this, here and now. Bring me the Oracle Core. Activate it. The Oracle Core was a forbidden Vorn device, capable of predicting enemy movements by manipulating dark energy across entire sectors. But it had not been used in centuries, its power dangerous even to the Vorn. Korath hesitated. The core, it can destroy whole systems if misused. The Emperor's voice was sharp as steel. Do not hesitate. Humanity will die tonight. As humans approached the outer sectors of Vorn space, Dr. Mei Han monitored the cube. Its glow was brighter than ever, responding to every movement of the fleet. It's alive, Mei whispered. And it knows where the Oracle Core is. It's guiding us. Ria's eyes narrowed. Then we follow it. No mistakes. This is our chance to strike at the heart of the Empire. The Human-Vorn Alliance fleet slipped into the sector under stealth. The stations along the way fell quickly, neutralized by precise strikes, sabotage, and the cube's energy manipulation. Finally, they reached the hidden facility where the Oracle Core was stored, a massive sphere of dark energy floating inside a containment field. Vorn sentries patrolled the perimeter, unaware that human sensors had already calculated every patrol route. Ria turned to her strike team. Prepare boarding pods. The core must be secured, not destroyed. We need intelligence on it, and it's the key to ending this war. The boarding pods launched, darting through the void like shadows. As they hit the facility, the cube pulsed, reacting to Ria's intent. Doors unlocked, security measures faltered, and human soldiers infiltrated the station with uncanny precision. Inside, they found the Oracle Core humming, energy veins writhing like living things. But when Mei touched it, the cube pulsed violently, reacting to the core's dark energy. This is it, she whispered. The cube, it's connected to the Vorn. The core. The Empire. This energy, it's part of the same origin. Ria frowned. What do you mean? The cube, Mei explained, is not just a weapon. It's a remnant of the Vorn's ancient technology, but it's different. Unlike the Empire, it has consciousness. It chose humanity, not the Vorn. And now, it's showing us the Empire's secrets. They thought they controlled all energy in the galaxy. They don't. At that moment, alarms blared across the station. Vorn reinforcements had arrived, led by a loyalist fleet. Brace yourselves, Ria shouted. We hold them here while the cube guides us out. The boarding team fought with skill and strategy, every movement anticipating the enemy's actions. Outside, the cube projected a field of energy that slowed the Vorn ships, bending space so that attacks missed or were redirected. Korath, commanding the loyalist fleet from afar, could hardly comprehend what was happening. Impossible, he muttered. They predict every move. Nothing we fire connects. The Emperor's voice crackled in the comms. Destroy them all. The cube is nothing. Humanity is nothing. Ria smiled faintly. Not today. Inside the core's chamber, the cube pulsed one final time. A surge of white energy flooded the station, overwhelming the Vorn reinforcements. Their weapons malfunctioned, systems shut down, and in a flash, their fleet retreated, unable to resist the cube's manipulation of spacetime. The humans secured the Oracle Core. Mei Han studied it, her hands shaking. We now know how the Vorn anticipate battles, and how to counter them. With this, humanity can fight on equal ground. Ria looked at the glowing cube, feeling its pulse sync with her own. It chose us, she said, and we won't waste its trust. Back in the Vorn capital, Varntel raged, pounding his claws into the floor. The humans have the core. How? Korath, kneeling, whispered. They were guided by the cube, my emperor. The cube knows more than we ever did. The emperor's voice was a low growl. Then the galaxy will burn. If they think they can wield my ancient power, they will learn the cost of defiance. Humanity's first deep strike into Vorn territory had succeeded, but the war was far from over. They now had knowledge of the Empire's greatest weapon, allies from within the Vorn ranks, and the cube's living power. The next stage of the war would decide not just the fate of Earth, but the future of the entire galaxy. And somewhere, in the dark void between stars, the cube pulsed again, ready, aware, and watching. Humanity's rise had only just begun. The galaxy trembled. The Vorn Empire, vast and ruthless, was now fractured, weakened by the cunning of humanity and the living power of the cube. Yet Emperor Varntel was not a creature to accept defeat. His crimson eyes burned with fury, his entire fleet ready for one final strike. Korath knelt before the Emperor, uneasy. "My lord, the humans have the cube and the Oracle core. They anticipate our every move. A direct assault could cost us the entire fleet." Varntel's voice was a low growl. "Then we do not fight them directly. We strike at Earth. Their homeworld must burn. Crush their people, and the cube's power will be meaningless." Across the void, a massive fleet of Vorn warships emerged from hyperspace above Earth. The humans had been expecting something. Rhea Morgan's fleet was ready, but even she felt the weight of what was coming. Thousands of ships, dark and massive, hovered like a storm of death. "Everyone," Rhea's voice echoed across the comms, calm but firm. "This is it. The Empire's wrath. But we are not children with toys anymore. Follow the cube's guidance, it will lead us to victory." Patel grinned. "Let's remind them who they're dealing with." The first strike came like a hammer. Vorn capital ships fired beams of energy that tore through the upper atmosphere, creating massive explosions across Earth's orbit. Human ships dodged, weaving in coordination, guided by the cube. Each movement anticipated, each strike countered. Rhea focused on the cube, feeling its pulse resonate with hers. "Now," it seemed to say. "Now is the moment." Suddenly, the cube projected a field of energy so vast it enveloped the Earth, shielding the planet from destruction. But the field did more than protect. It warped space around the Vorn fleet, disorienting their weapons, twisting trajectories, and causing chaos among their ships. Korath, observing from the flagship, frowned. "They bend space. It's impossible." On the front lines, human Vorn defectors led coordinated strikes, sabotaging the Emperor's massive warships. Explosions ripped through Vorn hulls as the cube manipulated spacetime, allowing tiny human vessels to appear inside the enemy fleet, striking weak points the Vorn never imagined. Rhea commanded from Aurora's echo, moving like a phantom across the battlefield. "Focus on the flagship," she ordered. "The Emperor must see what humanity can do." The cube responded instantly. White energy pulsed outward, warping the battlefield. The Vorn flagship, enormous and armored, shook as unseen forces tore at its hull and systems. Varntel roared in fury. How can these creatures wield the power of the ancients?" Korath, trembling, whispered. "They were chosen by the cube. It never belonged to us. We misjudged its will." The humans pressed the advantage. Ships weaved through the chaos, each strike precise, each movement coordinated beyond human capability. The cube guided them, predicting Vorn maneuvers, compensating for attacks, enhancing weapons. Even the Emperor's dark energy beams were deflected, nullified, or turned back against his own fleet. Finally, Rhea and her strike team approached the Emperor's flagship. Boarding pods launched silently, reaching the colossal vessel undetected. They entered the bridge, confronting the Emperor directly. Varntel's voice thundered. "You cannot win. You are children with toys." Rhea's eyes were steady. "We are not. And we never were." The cube pulsed behind her, expanding its energy. The Oracle core, in human hands, interfaced with the cube, projecting a network of light that disabled the Emperor's controls and drained his dark energy reserves. For the first time in centuries, Varntel felt fear. Outside, the Vorn fleet faltered as their flagship faltered. Without their command vessel, the remaining ships scattered, many surrendering to human forces. Planets and colonies once under Vorn control declared allegiance to the humans, inspired by the improbable victory. Inside the flagship, the Emperor struggled to regain control. The cube's energy surrounded him, not to destroy, but to contain. Rhea approached, hand steady. "It's over, Varn Tell. Humanity will not be enslaved. We will not be toys." The Emperor's scream echoed, but the cube remained in control. Light pulsed, enveloping the vessel, and the Emperor was removed from the galaxy, contained within a pocket of stasis where he could no longer threaten life. When the battle ended, silence fell. The stars were still, the void calm. Humanity had survived, not just by firepower, but by intelligence, courage, and the guidance of a living, ancient power. Rhea stood on the bridge, gazing at the remnants of the Vorn fleet. "We've won a war," she said softly, "but the galaxy, it's just beginning to know what humans are capable of." Patel smiled. "I think they'll remember this for a long time." Dr. Mahon studied the cube, now calm, its glow gentle yet alive. "It chose us," she whispered. "Not because we are strong, but because we are willing to fight, to survive, and to protect life. That's what it wanted all along." Across the galaxy, the message spread. Humans were no longer children with toys. They were strategists, warriors, and guardians. The Vorn Empire was shattered, the Emperor contained, and the stars themselves seemed to hum with new possibilities. Rhea looked at the holomap. New colonies, new systems, new opportunities. Humanity had begun its rise, and nothing, not even the vastness of space, could stop them. The cube pulsed once more, softly, like a heartbeat. And humanity's story was only just beginning. The war was over. The galaxy would never be the same.